Hello everyone, welcome back to another video. Today we're talking about how to make this lovely wave pattern as a variation to our chevron style stitch. And today is day 11 in our 30 stitches in 30 days. And so we are going to get started with our ripple pattern. All right, so to get started, we're going to use multiples of 16 for each of our waves that we want to have, plus 9 stitches for the beginning and end to make the row the same for each row going forward. So it's going to be multiples of 16 plus a total of 9 stitches to complete our wave pattern. We're going to do 3 waves, so 16 times 3 is 48 stitches, plus 9 more gives us 57. I'm using an ombre yarn and I want it to start changing color while we do this. And if you guys are just joining us for the first time, hello, welcome. My name's Amanda. I'm the creative behind Purple Rose Crafts. And then we are going to work our first part of the row. We're just making a double crochet into the second chain from our hook instead of the third. That's going to make, we are going to work then 5 double crochets for the length of one of our sides. Now keep in mind this pattern works really well if you want to do stripes. It doesn't necessarily lend itself super well to a self-striping yarn. I just never find that it really works out all that well. If you guys watched the chevron video, it kind of changed colors in the middle of the row and I thought that looked a little bit awkward, but the principle of the pattern is there. So if you guys want to try that one, I just don't really love the way that the color changes happened in the middle of the rows. So this one is going to be great. We're using an ombre yarn. It's our blue from Red Heart and it's called True Blue, and it goes from this like light blue into like a deep midnight blue. And because it's going to gradually change color, we're going to watch it change throughout the blanket. It's going to look awesome. So 5 double crochets along our side, and then for the peak we need to do 2 double crochets in the next 2 stitches each, 2 in this stitch and then 2 more in the next stitch. And then we're going to work our next side. Now, if you want to adjust the size of your ripples or your waves for this blanket or for this pattern, you can easily add stitches or take stitches away. Keep in mind you're going to do them along the straight sections here when you're adding or decreasing stitches. I thought 5 was a good number. Kind of gives us this cute wave. It's a little bit small, but not too daunting. And if you guys want to see the written pattern for this one, it will be included in the blog post, which is linked in the description below as well. And now, so 5 double crochets, and now our next 2 stitches are going to be a double crochet 2 together. So we're going to yarn over, come down into the stitch, draw up a loop, come through the first 2 loops on our hook. So we have 2 on our hook now, yarn over and come down into the next stitch and do the same thing that we just did. So we want to come through the first 2 loops on our hook to create these 2 kind of like half double crochets. They're not really half double crochets, they're like half of a done double crochet, and then yarn over and draw through all 3, because then we are going to turn these 2 stitches into 1 stitch at the top. So you can see we have just 1 V at the top, and now we're going to do that again. So yarn over, drop a loop, pull through both, pull through the first 2 on the hook, and then yarn over down into the next stitch, drop another loop, come through the first 2 again, and then come through the last 3 stitches. Okay, so we're creating a double crochet, 2 together here, and now we're going to do 5 more double crochets. All right, so this is going to be the valley of our ripple, and this part with the 2 double crochets is going to become the peak, and you can see that's already starting to be created there. So let's go ahead and keep going. 5 double crochets, and then we need 2 double crochets in the next 2 stitches, and then we're going to work our way back down the other side. So again, 5 double crochets, and then 2 double crochet 2 togethers side by side, and then 5 more double crochets. And we're going to keep going and repeat this across the row. And when we get to the end of the row, we're going to talk about how to finish off our stitch so that we don't end up with a really long or really short edge. We want to keep it straight up the side, so we don't want to be increasing or decreasing stitches on the ends of the rows. And then our way back is going to be basically the same. We're going to follow each stitch that we've just done. So if it's our double crochets, we're just going to do straight double crochets, and then our right at the top of our peak, we're going to use is where we're going to put our 2 double crochets again. But it's the beginning and end of the row that we want to make sure that we're not decreasing or increasing stitches where we shouldn't be, to make it go all wonky at the side. All right, and to finish off our row number 1, we should have 1 chain here left at the end of the row, and we're going to make 2 double crochets into it as like the half of a top of a wave, okay? And that's going to finish off our row. Make sure that we have enough stitches and nothing ends up wonky. All right, so now to start our second row, we're going to chain 2, turn our work around, and then double crochet into the base of that first one, because we still want to have a top of a wave. Now we're going to do 5 double crochets. And then we're going to do 2 double crochet 2 togethers side by side. We want to use the stitch before it as well. So that's our 2 stitches that we're going to use for this. Double crochet 2 together, and then the double crochet 2 together for the next one will go into the next 2 stitches. So it's going to also use up one of those double crochets from that part of the row, and then we're going to create an extra one at the top. Okay, so when we get to the top of row 2, this is our 2 double crochets right here. Okay, now you can do this by counting stitches, that's fine as well. I like to figure out visually where I need to be and follow my pattern that I did for the previous row for these ripples. So then we're gonna work our way down, and again, double crochet 2 together. If you forget where you are or you're not sure what to do, count, because it's 5 double crochets and then a double crochet 2 together, or 2 double crochets in 1 stitch, okay? So depending on where you're at, and this will be the same for each row going forward. So that first row was our setup row, and then each row is going to follow it throughout. And then at the end of the row here, once we get back to the beginning, we want to do a double crochet 2 together at the end of the row as a half of a bottom of a valley. So let's keep going, and I'll show you a little bit more about what this looks like. We'll be back in a moment.
All right, so here we are at the end of what I have done here for our swatch. This is our wave pattern, and it is, as you can see, we are working from this nice light blue into kind of a medium blue up towards the top. If I'd kept going, we would have got into the dark blue from the yarn ball, but I felt like this was enough to show you guys exactly what we're looking at, okay? So just keep matching up your tops, so your peaks and your valleys in each row, and that is it. All right, I hope you guys like this one. If you did, hit the like button below. And if you're watching this on the day that it is posted, thank you so much. And if you found this one later, still thank you. I really appreciate it. You getting to the end of the video. Click this video on the screen here and it will show you the day 12 video, which is our single crochet ribbed hat. And if you guys are watching this on the day that it is posted, this video on the screen here will be our day 1 basket weave stitch. All right, so you can go back to the beginning and watch them from there. All right, thanks so much for hanging out with us, and we'll see you in the next one.